Most people have no idea how much they can actually borrow with a reverse mortgage. And when they finally find out, they're actually shocked because it's usually a lot more than they expected. Today, I'm going to break down exactly how the number gets calculated so that you know what to expect before you ever talk to a lender. If you've searched for this question online, you already know how frustrating it can be. You get a bunch of generic numbers, vague percentages, and nobody just gives you a straight number. That is because the amount that you borrow or can borrow is not a one size fits all. It depends on a few specific factors that are unique to you. But here's the good news. Once you understand those factors, you can actually estimate your number pretty accurately. That is exactly what we're going to do right now. There are three main factors that determine how much you can pull out of your home with a reverse mortgage. The first is your age, and more specifically, the age of the youngest borrower on the loan. The second is your home's appraised value, and the third is current interest rates. Those three things get fed into a formula that produces what is called the principal limit, which is just a fancy way of saying the maximum amount that you can access. So the older that you are, the higher your home value and the lower the interest rates, the more money that you can get. Here is something that surprises a lot of people, especially if you have high home values. The FHA, which is the government agency that backs most reverse mortgages, has a cap on how much home value it will count in the calculations. Right now, that cap is just under $1,250,000. So if your home is worth $2 million, the formula does not use the 2 million, it actually uses the capped amount. This actually is one of the reasons a lot of high home value homeowners look into what's called a jumbo reverse mortgage instead, because that product does not have the same ceiling and can unlock significantly more equity. So after the formula runs, most borrowers end up accessing somewhere between 40 and 60% of their home's value, sometimes a bit more. For example, if you're 62, which is the minimum age to qualify for the FHA product, 55 for the jumbo, and your home value is worth $1 million, you might access somewhere around $400,000 to $500,000. If you're 75, that percentage goes up maybe closer to 55 or 60%. Age really does move the needle here. And that is why waiting does not always make sense, because interest rates and home values fluctuate. The sooner you understand your number, the more informed your decision is going to be. Here's something a lot of people forget to factor in. If you still have an existing mortgage on your home, the balance has to be paid off first from your reverse mortgage proceeds. So if your calculation comes back and says, hey, you can access, $500,000, but you still owe $200,000 on your current mortgage, your usable proceeds drop to $300,000. That said, eliminating your monthly mortgage payment is often one of the biggest benefits people get from doing this, because now that that payment is gone from your monthly expenses for good, you have much better cash flow each month. So after paying off the existing loan, many people come out in a much better cash flow position than they were before. Once you know your number, you also get to decide how much you want to receive. You can take it all as a lump sum up front. You can also set up monthly payments that come to you like a paycheck. You can even open a line of credit that just sits there and grows over time, which is honestly one of the most underrated features of this product. Or you can combine those options in whatever way fits your situation. The line of credit options is especially powerful because the unused portion actually grows at the same rate of interest plus 0.5%, which means the longer you wait to use it, the bigger it gets. That is a feature most people have never heard of before they sit down with me. I hear this one all the time. People say, Tane, I don't want to borrow against my home and end up owing more than it's worth. That is completely a fair concern, and here's the honest answer. With an FHA insured reverse mortgage or a jumbo reverse mortgage, there is a built-in protection called a non-recourse clause. That means you or your heirs will never owe more than the home is worth at the time of the sale, period. The government-backed insurance covers the difference if the loan ever exceeds the home value, so the risk is not sitting on your shoulders or your heirs. Look, the number that you can borrow is specific to you, and the only way to really know is to run your actual numbers with your actual age, your actual home value, and today's actual interest rates. I have a free calculator and a team that can walk you through exactly what your situation looks like. No pressure, no obligation, just real information so that you can make a smart decision. Whether you are ready to move forward or just curious where you stand, the first step is the same. Run your own numbers for free at perpetualretirement.com. That's perpetualretirement.com. The link is in the description, and I'll see you on the next one.